Step 2 of this reading files in and then writing text files is all about converting what we read in from the data and using it to do something. So in this particular case, what we're going to do is we've already read this data in during the first video, and now it's in some sort of data structure, and I want to take that thing and convert it into this. So this gives us all of the 2 letters. So we're aggregating the data if you didn't see that already. So all of the CE letters. So it's going to go through here and it's going to grab the CE letter and it's going to read over and it's going to grab the number of students. And I think that's the number of students. And CE 201 is going to grab those 40 students. And CE 350 is going to grab the 102. So that is the number that ends up being here for enrolled. And then I'm going to go take that number and multiply it by, well, for each one of these, you're going to take 102 multiplied by 3 and add that to all of the number of enrolled times the credit hours for each 2-letter designation. So for CH, so over here you'll see CH is 903 students, 3,286.5 total credit hours. So that's enrolled times the credit hour for each one of the courses. And then, okay, so that's what the green part is down here. So I was just explaining that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to it. Let's use the data that we already have figured out. So let me console, restart kernel, and let's run this. Actually, I just run the whole thing here. And we know we have data that looks like this now. So this is what we read in from the file. And we have a whole bunch of these suckers. It's like 475 different courses here at the Academy. And now what I want to do is I want to go through and do a little bit of that summarizing, if you will, or aggregation. So departments is going to equal to a blank list. Department num enrolled. I don't care. I mean, I have a hard time figuring out what I'm going to name these things. And then credit hour is also a blank. I'm going to have three different lists that basically this or aggregate this data for us. So for, let's see, row and data, and then I don't want to start, so just to make sure everyone sees this, I don't want to start at 0 because 0 is this thing that doesn't have any information in it. It's just the label, if you will, for each one of the columns. So I'm going to start at 1 and I'm going to go to the end. That's what that's doing. And then department prefix is equal to 0. So row 0, let me open up this again. So row 0, and then I'm going to grab the first 2 out of that string. So how do I do that? Well, I just come over and either 0 to 2 or colon 2, I think would work as well. And then num students is equal to row, let's see, which one is that one in? Enrolled, so it's 4. So that would be, yeah, this is not a very good one to open because nobody was in that one. Let's do one that has people in it. Maybe this one. So CE 43, that's the name of the course. That's the number of credit hours. And then 41, so that down there. So, and then if we want to turn it into a number, I got to tell it an integer. So I want to turn this into an integer. And then credit hours is equal to, again, 2. Credit hours in there. Now what I want to do is, so this department prefix is going to be, in this case, CE. And what I want to do then is I want to check to make sure that CE is not already in my department. So all you do there is just say if department then we want to add to. So in other words, if this were like the 5th CE course that I've been trying to aggregate, then I just wanted to add to the previous ones. If it's a new one, then we got to do something a little bit different. But I'm going to find the index simply by going department.index underscore prefix. So if you pass that in, you'll get the index to that one, and that index is the one that we want to increment. So department num, I guess that's supposed to be number of students. I don't know why I used num. So plus equals num students. And then credit hour. Plus equals to students times. So think about what that's doing for a second. So each row that I come in, I'm grabbing the number of students that's in that row. For example, this one would be 41. And then credit hour for that one row, which would be 3.5. So in this case, 3.5 times 41, 124.5 maybe. I don't know. I mean, just make sure that whatever that is, that multiplication is going to be added to the total number of credit hours for CE, right, for that department prefix. So we do that, and then if it wasn't in there, then what we're assuming is if it's not in that department in this little data structure here, then it's new. So the first time that it sees a CE, or the first time that it sees a CS, or the first time that it sees an MA, then what you're doing is something a little different than what you're doing in here. This one's accumulating. This one would be, I need to append, because it's the first time that I saw it, I need to append that department prefix into prefix. I'm going to append that one to the department. So the next time it comes in, it'll look it up, and it will be in there, and then it'll do this IDX business, and it'll look it up and then accumulate it. And then department underscore num dot append. And the num students for this one, because it's the first time that we've seen this one before. And then credit hours is the same way. So credit hours dot append. Make sure that I did that. Credit hour. Is it just credit hour? Yeah. That append, and it's going to be just num students times H. All right, I was making sure that thing was going to go away. And then the final thing is that we want to print. I'm just going to print this thing out. I guess we could set it equal to some summary. So we'll call it summary stats. Again, remember, department num is like the number of students enrolled, and then credit hour, total number of credit hours that you're teaching for that semester. And then we'll just say print summary statistics. All right, run it, and hopefully let's exit out. Hopefully we get something that look like that before. So CE. It looks like that's 429,903. It looks like that's correct. And there is the other one. Okay. That's all we got. I believe that's what I wanted to do for this lesson. We will come back in a second, and then we're going to use these summary statistics, and we're going to print them to the screen in a nice way. We'll use our F strings, and we'll also print them to a file. So right now, what we've learned today is more of this stuff that we did in the video, or the first video, and now we've sort of started thinking about how to use this data. So remember, we created this data structure here. So now this is using that data structure in order to aggregate, do some sort of analysis. And then now we've created this thing, and we need to use it now in order to accomplish our mission, if you will. So we want to print this thing out, put it into a file, and make it look nice. All right, again, that's all I got. See you next time.